Our next question is from Riggs Ordonez.
Good evening. So my question is, considering the fact that the past candidates and officers in general have not necessarily lived up to their position and have also not necessarily, kept with their promises and their campaigns, what are you going to do differently considering the fact that you have no more power than we do as students?
Okay, something that's actually very special about us too is that anything that we've said to you, these are talks that are already happening. Nothing is really just something that we pulled out of the air. These are things that are happening. There are admin, staff, faculty who somewhere on this campus likes it and they want to work with us on it. So I think that's a really big thing. And something else is that we are leaving a lot of space for you all to come to us and say, this is what we want to get changed. So we don't make empty promises to you all saying that we'll fix this, that, and that. We want to actually know, what do you want to see fixed before we go in making a mess of things.
Thank you for bringing that up. I actually think that highlights one of the most frustrating things over the past 2 years looking at elections. Two things that candidates always seem to promise: Greek housing and a football team. I can promise you right now that the state we are with the animosity between the administration and the students and the student government and things like Mason PD, we can't achieve things like that. We have to build relationships. We're going to have to work on a lot of other things like Safe Rides, where the administration is on board with us, before we can work on bigger projects like that. But absolutely, Jordan and I would absolutely want to highlight, we cannot promise anything. All we can do is advocate. We can cheerlead. We can support things. We can bring it to the administration. But at the end of the day, we need your support when we go to the administration to get those things done.
Good question. You're right. We probably don't have much more power than any of you guys out here. But it's all about we're your representatives, and collectively we can voice our opinions. So it's all about getting involved as a collective group, as students, and voicing those opinions.
Going off of what he said, if you want to see something done, stand with us, like when we have a forum or when we have a talk with an administrator. We plan on having a very open door policy when we have meetings like that. Like one student talking to an administrator, that makes a little bit of difference. Having 300 students voice a concern about an issue makes a much louder voice and makes them hear it much louder and makes them much more pressured to act on it if there is a problem. Like in housing and they wanted their air conditioners turned on. One person complaining to RA, that's one thing. 500 students all complaining to the housing office, that's something quite different. So I would say students standing with us, that makes the biggest difference.